Hi friends, for a long time I have been thinking of discussing Marilyn Monroe's chart with all of you. But whenever someone have had such a tragic life and death, I always ask this universe, my revered planets, the souls of the dear departed, that if they allow me to discuss their charts. So last 2-3 years, whenever I asked, I always got a no in the answer. I asked through tarot, I asked through various means, but I always got the answer no. So I just gave up. But since yesterday, I'm seeing a lot of Marilyn's videos in my phone, like on TikTok or in YouTube. I'm seeing, or even when I go to Google, articles on Marilyn are there. So I just took it as signal, because many times this happened when I'm studying on certain subject, then suddenly some people whom I do not even know about anything, regarding them some information start coming on my Google, on my YouTube, their interviews, videos on them, information on them. So I take it as a clue and I open their chart and I realize that I'm supposed to, what I'm researching on, that subject is there in their chart. So maybe the gurus up there, they know that this is a serious student, so provide this student with all the means to understand the subject properly. So anyway, so when this time I used dice and I asked, twice I asked that if I should open the charts of Marilyn Monroe for her Kaal, Sarp, Dosha and discuss on my YouTube channel, and both the times I got and I asked that please give me Jupiter or Ketu or number 7. So both the one time it came Moon, Taurus and number 7. And number 7 belongs to Ketu, and Moon Taurus is of course a very positive sign. And second time when I asked again, it came number 3 and with 2 other things which were also very positive. So I took it as yes. And then when I started writing down the notes on her Kaal, Sarp, Dosh, and I started searching on Google and started opening charts of various people connected with her, I got to know so many more things, like which I didn't notice earlier. So this is going to be an article where a lot of events of her life will be discussed. Dates, numbers will be discussed. So kindly bear with me, and I'm going to read them because I can't remember all the numbers, so I'm going to read them, so please bear with me. Okay, so number 4 belongs to Rahu and number 7 belongs to Ketu. So in her chart she has a partial Kaal, Sarp, Dosh because her Saturn is exalted in the 4th house and is retrograde. So whatever other planets are doing in her chart are on the basis of what Rahu, Ketu wants them to do. All the events and all the people in her life are connected with Rahu and Ketu, and they are in control of Rahu and Ketu. And why I am saying this, you will get to know. And only Saturn is the only planet which is out of the axis of Rahu and Ketu, and so it is independent and it is doing what it wants to do, and it has, because it is exalted, it has given her some good people in her life, one very good person in her life, and which took the love beyond grave. So anyway, I am going to discuss it. So now I am going to read it, and kindly bear with me and have patience, because the thing is, many of you may say that why she is opening the charts of her, or why she is talking about the dates and days. If you really want to understand somebody, astrology and the events related to her chart, you have to open the charts, you have to understand the numbers. So anyway, so you all know now, I'm sure you all know that Rahu is number 4 and Ketu is number 7. Marilyn was born on 1st June 1926. Now if we calculate all these numbers to a single digit, it comes to number 7. Marilyn died on 4th August 1962. So number 4 you can see. She died on on 4th of August 1962. That's what they say, around midnight sometime, because until 10-11 in the night she was awake. Her housekeeper saw her. So after that sometime, but her housekeeper found her dead on 5th of August 1962 at 4:25 a.m. So 5th August 1962, if you calculate, it comes to number 4 also. Okay, and also at 4:25 a.m. So 4 is again of Rahu, and 25 if we calculate is number 7 again. Marilyn's first marriage was when she was 16 years old, when she turned 16. Few days after her 16th birthday, she got married to James Dosha, Mr. James Dosha. So 1 plus 6 is also 7. Now Dosha, if we calculate numerologically, it comes to number 4. No, it comes to 4. And the day she got divorced with Mr. Dosha was 16/4/1946, which is also number 4. Her second marriage was to Mr. DiMaggio. Mr. DiMaggio, he was a very renowned international baseball player, and the retrograde Saturn exalted in her chart in her 4th house represent Mr. DiMaggio. Why? I am going to tell you later on. So she got married to him. Joy totals up to, if we calculate Joy, it comes to number 4. Okay, so she got married to him on 14th January 1954. So if we calculate this date, these numbers, it comes to number 7, again Ketu's number. Joy's birthday falls on the 25th of the month. So 25th is again 2 and 5 is 7. Only after 274 days of marriage, 274 days of marriage, she announced her divorce with Mr. DiMaggio. Now if we calculate 274, it comes to number 4. And regarding DiMaggio, I am going to discuss later on, and even his chart, but right now I just focus on reading the events and dates and about people in her life. Her third marriage was to Mr. Arthur Miller, whose birth details are 17/10/1915, which totals up to number 7. He was 40 years old when they got married. Okay, now if we talk about her friendships with her male friends, she had total of actually if we count Mr. Bobby Kennedy, then it's 8, but when I check the chart of Mr. Bobby Kennedy, she is not there. She is not there at all. He could have been messenger of Mr. John F. Kennedy, because that was not the time of mobile and email, so he must be passing messages to her personally, his brother's messages, but I don't see in her chart Marilyn or anyone there. He was totally devoted to his wife Ethel, and they had 11 children in 18 years, and his chart is a chart where there is deformation there, a deformation beyond grave, but he is I don't think Marilyn was his love interest. Mr. John F. Kennedy was born on 29th May 1917, which comes to total of number 7. Mr. John F. Kennedy died on 22nd November 1963, which also comes to number 7. Now she had another 6 friends, male friends, which are Alia Kazan. His birth details also total comes to number 7. Rest all, if you see their charts, if you open their charts one by one, you will know how closely their chart connects with Marilyn's chart. So Charlie Cass Chaplin Jr., Milton Berle, Marlon Brando, Frank Sinatra, Jerry Lewis. These were her friends. her favorite actor, male actor, her favorite was Charlie Chaplin, and he was born on 16/4/1889. 16/4 is very important number in her life. There are two more people who have connection with 16/4. 16 is 7, 4 is that of Rahu, 7 is that of Ketu, as I have said. Her first movie role, I'm also going to talk about how Saturn has benefited her later on towards the end of this video. Her first movie role was offered to her on 11th Feb 1947. If you calculate this, it is also number 7. Okay, the movie name was The Shocking Miss Pilgrim. Her first major role was in Niagara, which was released on 21st 1st 1953, which also comes to number 4. Her biggest commercial hit was her movie 7 Year Itch. The number 7 was there in the movie name itself. Okay. Now, her famous lipstick, red. Sometimes she used orange color, and very seldom I saw her using dark pink. Maybe few, like maybe 1% of her times when she is using lipstick, she used pink. When she is wearing probably a dark magenta colored dress or something like that, dark pink colored dress, then she is using pink. But orange she used few times, but her favorite color was dark red, and that lipstick is max factor 7-22. 7 is Ketu's number, and 22, if we bring it to single digit, it is number 4, Rahu's number. Okay, she owned exactly 413 books, which if you calculate comes to number 7. Okay, all through her life she has stayed in 43 homes. She stayed in the orphan children home, foster home, in her three husbands home, but she never owned a property of her own. Just last year of her life, she bought her 43rd number home, which she paid for it herself, means she bought it herself. And in that house she lived for 6 months, and in the 7th month she died. And that house address, the numbers in that house address are 12305 5th Helena Drive. If you calculate these numbers, it comes to number 7 again. Okay, she died on 4th August, that I have explained already. Okay, Monroe owned many cars, but all were gifted to her. There was only one Ford company car called Thunderbird that she paid herself for. She bought it herself, and Thunderbird, if you calculate, it comes to 4 or 7. I wrote it somewhere, I forgot. Yeah, it comes to number 7. The Thunderbird, if you calculate, it comes to number 7. 3, 2, 5, 6, 7. And she bought it on 20th 12th 1955, which you calculate again comes to number 7. Okay, so this Thunderbird car she owned for 6 years, and then she gave it present to her acting coach Lee Strasberg's son's 18th birthday. She presented to Mr. Lee Strasberg's son John on his 18th birthday. She presented him this car, Thunderbird, and on 20th 5 1959 she presented it to him on 20th 5 1959, which we calculate comes to number 4, Rahu's number. If we calculate Lee Strasberg, okay, so it comes to Lee comes to number 4 and Strasberg comes to number 7, and she left all her property, everything, all the cash except for 100,000 she left for her mother, but in her will she left everything to Lee Strasberg. But after she died, Mr. Lee Strasberg's wife Paula also died. She was very close to Mr. Lee's family. So by right, whatever she left, she must have thought it will go to his son, as she was close to him. He was a very young boy, so she must have thought that. But Mr. Lee got married again to a lady called Anna, and after that Mr. Lee Strasberg also passed away. Now Anna was born on 16/4/1939. I told you 16/4 is a number which is repeated in her life. So Anna, she left everything to Anna, not Anna, Anna. 1, 2, 3, yeah. And Anna was born on 16/4, means 7 again and 4. So Rahu Ketu are playing the role here also, right? Now her hair were called platinum, she was called platinum blonde, her hair were dyed platinum blonde color. Now platinum blonde color belongs to Rahu, okay. Yeah. Now she and Mr. Joy DiMaggio, they were very much in love with each other, and they were really most suitable among all her male friends and her husbands. He was someone who loved her beyond her grave, and she got divorced with him because he didn't like that scene in the movie 7 Year Itch, where she is when her skirt or whatever is blowing in the air up, so her thighs and legs can be seen. That scene he didn't like, and he reacted, and he told her that she cannot work in movies, she shouldn't work in movies at home anymore, and she should be a wife at home, staying at home, and that's why she got divorced from him. And that scene was picturized on Manhattan, in Manhattan, Trans-Lux 52nd Street, in Manhattan, Trans-Lux 52nd Street. So 5 and 2, again you calculate, it comes to number 7. Okay. DiMaggio, Joy DiMaggio, after Arthur Miller, never mind, I tell you about her third husband also, okay. Her third husband, where is her third husband? Her third marriage was to Arthur Miller. I started discussing her about her male friends, I forgot her third husband, Arthur Miller. Or did I discuss? Maybe I have forgotten. Anyway, her third husband was born on 17/10/1915, which totals up to 7, and he was 40 years old when he got married to Marilyn. So 40 also is number 4, and 17/10/1915 is 7. So yeah. Now so after Marilyn's death, there was no one to take care of funeral. So her housekeeper called DiMaggio to take care of the funeral. And DiMaggio, he was so much in love with her that all through he was just crying and saying, "My Marilyn, I love you, I love you, I love you." And after that, for 37 years, every week 3 times he used to go to her grave and used to offer flowers for 37 years. And before his death, his last words were, "Now I am going to see Marilyn." So that was love which lasted beyond grave. And also it is so strange that people think that this is mine. When I study this kind of situation, I realize that nothing is ours. Everything is planned by this destiny. Everything which is given to us, it's for our use only. If we think, oh, we pass it on to our family and it will last with our family, it's not necessary it happens like that if it is not will of this universe. See, Mr. Joy DiMaggio, he had one son, also Joey DiMaggio Jr., and he didn't get along with his son. But he got married. Joey DiMaggio Jr. got married to a woman who already had 2 kids from another marriage. Joey, who is Joey Sr., he was very close to his daughter-in-law even when his son was divorced with this lady, and he used to call his step-grandchildren his grandchildren. They inherited everything from him. Joey DiMaggio Jr., any other family member, they got peanuts, but all his property, everything went to his step-grandchildren. They were his grandchildren, and they say that he was a real grandfather. They are very fond of him, basically, to his memory also. Joey Jr. Was in close contact with Marilyn. The day she died, even that day she spoke to him. So he was not close to his father, but he was very close to his stepmom. Till the day, she died, she spoke to him that day. Her last call was to Mr. John F. Kennedy. The last call she made was to Mr. John F. Kennedy, but before that she spoke to Joey Jr. Okay. Now, if we see how Marilyn's chart, the Saturn, which is out of the axis of Rahu Ketu, how it has helped her. Okay, so retrograde Saturn is in Vishakha Nakshatra in 4th house. So it is speaking of difficult situation related to home and mother, because retrograde Saturn, exalted, it's like debilitated Saturn, right? And Vishakha Nakshatra is not an easy nakshatra, it has lot of issues. So it is speaking of mother's situation, home situation. Now, and she is Cancer Lagan. Her first movie role was offered to her. Her first movie role was offered to her on 11th Feb 1947, which is number 7. Okay, the Shocking Miss Pilgrim. On this day, retrograde Saturn was in the sign of Cancer, transiting in the sign of Cancer. She is Cancer Lagan, and that day when this movie was offered to her, retrograde Saturn was transiting her Lagan and expecting her 10th house of profession. Okay, her first major role was in Niagara, which was released on 21st Jan 1953, which is again number 4. Now, on this day, Saturn was direct and in Libra. Saturn was direct and in Libra, means exalted, transiting in the same sign where her natal Saturn is. Okay, and also expecting the 10th house of profession. Her first major commercial hit movie, The 7-Year Itch, which has number 7 in it. During this time, transiting retrograde Saturn was exactly almost on top of her natal Saturn. Okay, her marriage to DiMaggio, Joey DiMaggio, which was on 14th January 1954. On that day, Saturn was in Libra with Mars. Okay, so this is there. Now I will tell you why I am saying with Mars it was there. I will explain why I said Joey DiMaggio is that husband, that person alone who gave her lot of happiness, or with whom her love goes beyond grave. See, all other events of her life, all other people in her life were connected to all the planets which were inside the axis of Rahu and Ketu. Only retrograde Saturn in Libra, in her 4th house, is out of axis of Rahu and Ketu. And I will tell you exactly why I am saying that Mr. Joey DiMaggio is that person. Okay, so you see, Mr. Joey DiMaggio, he has in his natal chart, he has Scorpio Lagan, Mars Lagan, and he has Sun and Venus there in Anuradha Nakshatra, which is the nakshatra of Saturn. So this is the combination of Mars and Saturn. Now if you see in her chart, when she got married to Joey DiMaggio, Mars is also there with Saturn, transiting with Saturn over her natal Saturn. And you know something, Mr. Joey DiMaggio lived a very ordinary life. You know, he never got married again, and he worshipped Marilyn, and not only that, he kept small things of her, like her passport, the letters she wrote to him. He never parted with anything which she left with him. Small things. He just kept it with him. He never gave it to anyone. It was all with him. And other than that, I told you, like thrice a week he used to visit her grave. And he lived a very ordinary, very simple life. He had so much of respect in the community because he was living very simply, like a very down to earth person. Only Mars and Saturn, the combination of Mars and Saturn creates someone with a labor class mind, you know, someone who is very down to earth, someone who is extremely hardworking, someone who is very simple. So he was living in a medium cost flat, very ordinary flat, you know, small ordinary flat. He was given a car by some community, some service he was doing for some company, some place, and they gave him a very small car. He was driving that, only one car he owned. Plus he was involved with lot of community work, lot of charities. He used to spend only, you know, the 10,000 USD per year. His expenses were that much only, and he hardly spent anything. He was a very simple man. If Marilyn was alive and she was married to him, like they wanted to get married again, she would have loved this kind of lifestyle, where so simple, where she just wanted love. Her lagan was that of Cancer, you know, very emotional. She was childlike. There are lot of things about her chart. When you all will study, you will see, you know, she was not craving for wealth. She was craving for love. She called, I think, Joey DiMaggio Pa or Daddy, something like that. And her sun and Venus are in Anuradha Nakshatra, that is about devotion, like love, like that of Radha and Krishna. So this retrograde Saturn exalted in her 4th house is for Joey DiMaggio, for no one else. This is the person. And if you see about her marriage to Mr. Arthur Miller, on 29th June 1956, retrograde Saturn was in her 5th house of Scorpio with Rahu, both in Anuradha Nakshatra. Saturn's nakshatra and also still out of her natal Rahu and Ketu axis. She really loved Arthur Miller also, and this marriage lasted for 5-6 years also, but she had lot of miscarriages because 5th house, you see, when the day she got married, the Saturn retrograde with Rahu in the 5th house. So the day somebody is getting married, if you see the chart of that day, you can know that, like Prashna, what kind of destiny this marriage is going to bring to these people, this couple. So the children related issues were there, and eventually marriage didn't last. When she died, retrograde Saturn was in Capricorn with Ketu in Shravana and in the axis of Rahu and Ketu. Her natal moon is also in Capricorn in her natal chart. So this is there. Her first marriage also, Saturn was in Taurus in Rohini Nakshatra with Mercury in Mrgashira, and Rahu Ketu, it was in the Rahu Ketu axis. So the first marriage also didn't work out. So if you really see all through her life, her destiny was totally controlled by Rahu and Ketu. If you will open the charts of all the events of her life, like when she gave her car to only car which she bought herself to Mr. Lee Strasberg, her drama coach or acting coach son. If you open the chart of that day, if you open the chart of all her male friends, if you open the chart of her mother, you will get to know a lot more things, that how her destiny was controlled. And I still feel very happy for her, because her retrograde Saturn exalted retrograde Saturn gave her a lot. I mean, though she was not destined to enjoy love, that love in her lifetime, but she experienced it, and from her grave she must have enjoyed it. Now another thing, I think she's just incarnated again because and she's, you know, she's born in Hollywood, to a famous Hollywood film family, and when I saw the picture of this baby is like a twin, you know, that what they say, exact identical twin of Marilyn. And also Marilyn is born on 1st June of 19 whatever, and this child is born on 6th January. I mean, 1st June is 1/6, and this child is born in 6/1. Also the Dosha also matches, you know, where Marilyn left this world was, I think, Jupiter Rahu, I don't remember now, but this child is incarnated in Rahu Dasha. And also in this lifetime, this child's initials, like she was Norma Jean Marilyn Monroe. In this life, this child's initials also are same, NJMM. Okay, and in this life, the Kaal Sarp dosh is still there, and it is still in the chart of this child, and Moon is out of the axis of Rahu and Ketu, and it's in 11th house, which is speaking of gains through mother. And she has sun, this baby has sun in her 6th house. So 6th house is of prarabdha, you know, the father rejected her in previous lifetime. So the Ketu in 4th house of her chart is speaking of you know, the what she went through in previous lifetime related to 4th house, and sun in 6th is prarabdha related to father, you know. So in this lifetime, father will have to do a lot for her. So basically I think maybe this is what I feel, that maybe this is why I got permission to discuss her chart like this. Otherwise I was not I was not getting the permission to discuss her chart. This is what I feel. I could be wrong also, but I always believe that this universe sends you signals. Thank you so much. I hope you like this video. If you do, please subscribe and like. And also one day I'm going to send a message to one of you, if you can help me. I have another tablet which I am going to connect with my YouTube, so that when I do live sessions I don't have to read here. I can read it here because I have to strain my eyes if I have to read from the screen. So I can just look at my tablet and can answer. So that one I will be needing someone's help, so please help me out. And I am going to continue with my series of all the planet in certain nakshatra. And also one thing, Marilyn Monroe have Venus in Ashwini Pada 2 in 10th house of her chart.